Hi everyone, I'm back. It's 2:05. Sorry about that. I had a little technical glitch there that I wanted to take care of before I got on. So this morning at 10 o'clock, we talked about a few of the funding trends and things that are happening in 2025. And I want to touch on some of those and how we can support you both with free supports, low-cost workshops, or engagements. So whether it's a custom cohort or just a few months where you're learning a skill and getting the support you need, and then you just run with it, because our whole theory is we give you what you need when you need it, and then you just take it and run with it. So you could do that, or we can walk beside you for a period of time, or maybe we begin working together on a very small basis to help you, for instance, get grant or donor ready, and then we start doing some research and some more supports as you need them and grow with you. So we offer all different things for everybody. When I switched my model onto online last year, it was so that I could serve as many nonprofits as possible. So I want to talk about a few main things that are happening this year that I want you to stay focused on, and there are some things that you need to do right away. So we know that after the election, things started to settle down. People knew that some funding sources would be strong and some were going to probably be cut. And we're seeing those cuts now happen as legislative sessions are beginning, both in DC and on a state level. So what does that mean for us? It means that we have a lot of nonprofits that are social service nonprofits that need to diversify their funding, or they are going to end up closing or reducing their programs. So what we want to do is we want to start teaching right now newer leadership. So we know we had this big turnover in leadership and staffing over the last few years, that when you're donor ready, you're grant ready. When you're grant ready, you're donor ready. And that social services, although typically a third of their budget is sort of what they expect to be funded by the government, a lot of them it's much more, and some of them it's like 90%, if not more. So you really need to be able to focus on your major donor identification, because post 2016 with the tax cuts, there are a lot of donor advised funds, and there are some really wonderful donors that are out there. So we have been searching for tools to fast track our research model that we've used since 1995. And we did. We found this in March. So now we do list cleanup and deep research on a very targeted group of major donors to really begin to cultivate. It's basically the same strategy that we use for grants and the cultivation of the relationship we use for donors. And it's very successful. It's successful because you're able to highlight what it is that you do. So the tools that we teach you, you come into a free training, which we were going to start them again in February. We did about 12 of them in September and October. And I'm going to fast track that. And I was going to do one Friday, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do one this Friday. So I'm going to do them next week. And then I'm probably going to do 3 days in a row, 3 different trainings at the beginning of February and the middle of February. And then we're going to go right into some cohorts, because there are some real things that need to happen this year. So here's what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you to come into the free trainings, learn about our funding model in 1 hour. Take it and run with it. You can go, take it, implement it, do it, make your money, get your donors, get your grant funding, and go with it. You may only need a little bit of a tweak. Perfectly fine. If when you're there, you realize that you want to come to another one to go a little bit deeper, or to hear about the two tools, like one of the tools you got, the other one you want to learn about, come in again. Keep coming in. It doesn't matter. Troll me all you want. Go on LinkedIn, read my articles, check the videos on Instagram. I've got a whole bunch of videos I haven't even been able to put up yet. Troll me, learn everything you can, and do it. Take it and run with it. That's why I'm here. When you need a little bit more, or we're going to go a little bit deeper, we'll do these deep dives that are very inexpensive workshops for you. So I've checked all the prices nationally. The community foundations do a lot of these, but this is based on my model. So it may be the same named tool, but it is being taught with my model, which is very easy to learn and very easy to implement. The 3 days that I want to do in February are going to be 3 days just on grants, okay? Because I had over 2,000 downloads of my grant readiness checklist just since July. And I can't tell you, every single day, my phone's pinging all day with this, with people that are downloading this. I need you to understand why I wrote the list the way that I did and how we utilize it. Because once you learn that, and that's only 1 hour. So each of these trainings, it's 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, and then you go. You're going to learn the why. And once you learn the why, you're going to fast track all of your grant proposals. Whether it's an LOI or it's a grant, you're going to have exactly what you need, and you're going to actually know what the questions are and why they're asking them. And it may seem counterintuitive, like they're just asking me a question, but there's actually a true science to this. Answering a question is the mechanics. I'm going to teach you the science of this. So in 3 days, we cover the 2 main tools. We cover research, we cover AI. We're going to be talking about a lot of different aspects of grant writing that changed last year from March to July. Our clients were fine because they were utilizing my strategy, but a lot of clients were in trouble. And now we're seeing exactly what we saw happen last July is exactly the model for funding this year, which is slower, it's more deliberate, and if you just utilize this plan, you're going to be fine. So you can learn these tools in an hour for free, you can create them both within 2 weeks, and then you're grant ready. And if you're grant ready, you're donor ready, donor ready, you're grant ready. So lists are another thing that I really need you to be focused on. We offer list cleanup and also very deep research with our research model that we've been using since 1995, and now we have a tool to fast track this. Our goal is to get your lists cleaned right away. So from now until mid-February, I want all of your lists cleaned, okay? I want these 2 tools created because with what we know about the state and federal funding, these cuts are happening, and that means that we're going to have a lot more demand on donors and a lot more demand, major donors, and a lot more demand on grant funders. So you want to get a system in place as soon as possible so that you can get as much funding as you can, and you want it to be accurate. So you want to not waste their time and not waste your time. The other big concern, and I've talked about this a lot in my talks, which you've probably seen videos or something of, is AI. AI changed the nonprofit funding world pretty significantly because there were people that were unqualified that were creating grants that really weren't matches and really weren't accurately reflecting what the nonprofit could do or couldn't do. Use AI. AI is great. Use it to ideate, to tighten your language, to expand a little bit more sometimes, to reword something that feels stale. It's fantastic, and I'm going to teach you different ways to use that when you're writing grants or you're going to use AI to speed things up, especially tasks that you don't really like to do a lot. Sponsorships are another area that are very interesting. So the list development that I do, which I've been doing for years, but I've been doing it sort of, longhand, so to speak, pen to paper, is I would be researching who to go to and what type of sponsorship you should be going for and what they're going to want. What's interesting is I've done several sponsorship programs. 2 of them I helped create, and then one of them I really just was a voyeur. The person really knew what they were doing. They really didn't need very much from me. I shared all the input that I had, but I didn't create the sponsorship plan. But it's absolutely fantastic. It's, again, one of the best ones that I've seen. The 2 that I helped to create with my clients were really interesting because one had a market that's very, very tough. They're not really, they don't have access to traditional donations, and they're mostly government funded. The other one serves a very interesting community. It does serve nonprofits, but it really serves the business community. And the feedback that my client got on these sponsorship levels that we had and the perks was really, really interesting. And I share that. So in February, I'm going to do another 3-day workshop, and we're going to talk about lists, major donors, traditional donors and engagement, and sponsorships. So those 3 days are going to be more high level, meaning you have your fundamentals set. You now are looking for, usually the first things that people look for are traditional donations. which people are still giving money. It's just different ways, right? They've dropped sort of off the monthly giving. They're now giving $100 instead of $120, $10 a month. They're giving when they're ready to give. They're involved. And volunteerism is way, way up. So you've got great opportunities there. But I'm going to talk to you on this second 3-day workshop about the deeper dive. Once you've got your messaging and your engagement and your donors down and you're getting some grant funding in and you understand that it's all going to sunset. Grant funding doesn't stay, donors stay. Grant funding is going to come in and it's going to go out. You're going to have an entrance date and a sunset date. And then usually there's a time period before you can go back, or they change their mission. And that's okay. That's just what it is. Once you understand that mechanism, now you understand how to add in other work. But doing it all at once is very overwhelming. So I traditionally work with nonprofits between $750,000 of revenue to about $1.3 million. That seems to be the spot that no matter what, that I'm typically in. You're going to get a great cash infusion, one nonprofit, and they'll hit the $1 million mark, and then the next year they're at $800,000, and you may have an $800,000 one that suddenly diversifies their funding, and they're at 1.3, and they're just doing great. A lot of my free workshops are with brand new nonprofits or founders, and I love that because you're going to learn right from the beginning how to fund your nonprofit in a really effective way with really sound tools. You're going to understand how to navigate the operational challenges that you're going to face with staff and with boards. You're going to understand all of this right from the beginning, so you're going to learn how to do this well. I'm going to teach you how to do the grant research. I really want you all to use me for that because I love doing it. I have an external business eye on my research for both donors and for grantors. So I really love that, and I really love finding that match for you. So I'm going to teach you how to do it, but I hope that we'll end up doing something where I'm doing at least quarterly your sweeps. That's what I really want to be doing. And with your lists, there are specific things that I'd like to be doing. There are things that I don't need to do. So I'm always going to say, this is the best use of me. Plug in here and then take it and run with it. Or you don't need me here, take it and run with it. Don't pay me to do that, or don't even ask me to do that. You've got that taken care of. Just let me support you. So I wanted to introduce the concern that I have that if you do not begin this month with your list cleanup and getting these tools under your belt, you're going to be left behind a bit in 2025. We are going to see AI continuing to inundate nonprofit funders, and it's going to slow that process down even more. And there's an example that I've given, and I'll give it in the free talk when you come into it. Email info@tierneydevelopmentgroup.com with any questions that you have, or if you'd like to join any of these workshops that I've mentioned, and I'll put you on the list. Then we'll have it's set up. The link tree will be updated next week probably, and then you'll be able to register for those. I'll let you know the registration dates right in the group, and you'll get an email. Sent out the first newsletter of the year last Sunday, and then last week was a super busy week, so I sent out an email with everything that we were doing. So go to LinkedIn, take a look at my profile, listen to the podcast Straight Talk on Tuesdays at 8:30 with Danielle. We talk about business issues. We talk about nonprofit and business issues because a nonprofit is a business. We talk about AI a lot. We talk about the intergenerational workforce, tips and tricks, trends that we're seeing. And then I hijacked this Tuesday, and we only talked about nonprofit funding. It was a really, really good discussion. It's posted on my page. And then I wrote an article that was a summary of what we discussed, and it's had 500 views just since last night. So take a look at that. And then post any questions here. You know that that's what I'm here to do. I love supporting you, and that's what I want to do. So post your questions under here. And I'm going to start doing 20-minute talks like this quite often. I wanted to do them last year, but we just got a little bit too busy. So I'm going to be doing them on YouTube, and we have the 20-minute academy that we'll be doing. And then we're also going to do them here, and I'll be popping in and out so that you can get to know me a little bit more. And then please register. I can't wait to help you. Thanks.